It's never over until it's over in football. Arsenal had to grind that 1 point against this Manchester City side. See, I've never seen Man City or Pep Guardiola's team defend this bad or this long in football. In fact, this is the lowest Pep Guardiola has been in terms of ball percentage in Manchester City. 32% possession. He defended for most period of this game. And kudos to Arsenal, kudos to Arteta for making that fantastic change, to give Arsenal the equalizer to, get a point against Manchester City. This is an Arsenal side who hasn't lost at home this season. This is an Arsenal side who has not conceded at home this season. This is an Arsenal team who has scored 8 goals already at home this season without conceding a single goal. That's to tell you how good they are at home. The first half did not go as planned. The first half, Arsenal was even more defensive minded. They considered an early goal through Erling Haaland. In fact, Erling Haaland has scored 6 goals already this season, which makes him the highest goal scorer already in the Premier League at this point. But kudos to this Arsenal team for fighting their way back into this game and picking up a single point. 1 point against Manchester City is a very good result. 1 point against Manchester City is a very good one because this is the Manchester City side that is very, very good attacking wise. So for you to get a point against them, both home and away, to me, it's a very, very good point. And to all Arsenal fans out there, I think they are satisfied with this result. So how did the game go? The game started and 5 minutes into the game, Erling Haaland scored. I think Mikel Arteta started this game with a defensive mindset. To me, I think Mikel Arteta started this game because when you have Merino in the starting lineup and you have the likes of Eze and Saka on the bench, yes, I understand Saka is just coming back from injury, but starting Merino, who 70 or 80% of the time he receives the ball, he always turns back. So that alone is a defensive mindset going into this game. I think, on my own opinion, I think Eberechi Eze should have started this game going over. It would have been a different case entirely in the first half. But that being said, Arsenal conceded, and at that point, they had to take the game to Manchester City from the first half. See, this Arsenal possession for the whole of second half started from the first half. Immediately they conceded, Arsenal took the game to them. They conceded in a very, very crazy manner because at that point, pushing all your defenders forward and being hit on a counter attack and on a counter press, and then the Haaland scored. Now, some players actually impressed for Arsenal in the first half, which I would have to mention Madueke. Madueke, since joining Arsenal, has been very, very good. His attacking threat has been fantastic. His 1v1 has been the best in the Premier League since the start of this Premier League. So Madueke was very, very... In fact, every Arsenal's attack came from Madueke in the first half. Every Arsenal's attack came from what Madueke actually produced in the first half. Kudos to Trossard also, who tried, in the first half as well. Now, the first half finished, the second half started, and it became a different thing entirely. Because Arteta was a little bit defensive-minded in the first half, but when the second half started, it had to be the turn of Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola was so much defensive in the second half that every player, 4 out of the 5 players, Pep Guardiola changed in the second half were all defenders, from John Stones to Nathan Ake. Most of them were defending on all defenders in the second half. That is to show that he wanted to take the 3 points. He wanted to be more defensive minded in the second half, and that was what made him drop this point, because when you are more defensive minded in the second half, you attract so much pressure into the team, and at the end of the day it fall through, and the defense falter at the end of the day. And Arsenal, with the changes of Martinelli, got that single point, for Mikel Arteta, which to me, I think is a very, very good one for Arsenal, in this game. Now, what are the 5 things we learned from this game? First of all, this Manchester City defense this Manchester City defense had so much bodies in it. This Manchester City defense was so good in the second half that they defended everything. See, Manchester City defense, Pep Guardiola was more defensive minded in the second half. For you to break that defensive line was not an easy one. They were playing with 5 defenders and with like 3 or 4 defensive midfielders and just 1 attacker. At the time when they pulled out Erling Haaland, they brought another player in, which was also a defender. Then they had just 1 attacker up front, which was Demiri Doku. And also when he was taking out, another attacker was came into the game as well. So it was just 1 attacker up front. it was just so defending, for Pep Guardiola. Everything he did in the second half was defensive minded, and kudos to Arsenal for breaking that defensive line. It was never an easy one. It was just a silly mistake from Donnarumma, who was not supposed to come out of his line, but at the end of the day, Martinelli came in and got that second goal. Another thing we learned was Mikel Arteta, defensive minded in the first half, actually made Arsenal go a man down. If he was more attacking minded in the first half, he was supposed to have started Eberechi easy going into this game. But he started Merino, which a little bit was more defensive minded. Yes, I know he wanted to take the midfield and in the second half throw in his attacking players. But at that time, against this Manchester City side, who are very, very good, in the midfield, in defense and in attack as well, you have, to take up your chance. And even if you get the early goal, it will still be better than conceding the early goal against this Manchester City side. So to me, I think Mikel Arteta was more defensive in that first half, and that was what cost Arsenal, this point. Now, when Arsenal conceded, and now the second half, the substitution, I think Mikel Arteta, kudos to him for making the substitution very, very quick. The moment he brought in Saka and Eberechi Eze, the game changed. At that moment, Arsenal took control of both the midfield and in attack as well, because at that point, both the left wing, the right wing, everywhere was pressure for Manchester City, and very, very good pass from Eberechi Eze. What a pass to find Martinelli during the last minute of the game, 2 minutes to go thereabout, to find Martinelli. That pass was a sublime pass, fantastic pass from Eberechi Eze. That is what he gives you when he plays in the preferred position. That is the creativity he gives you. That is why he was bought from Crystal Palace, because he has those passes in him. He has that creativity in him. He has that creative spark in him. So playing him in his rightful position, this is what he can deliver to Arsenal. This is what he can deliver to Mikel Arteta. So that was a very, very good change from Mikel Arteta, bringing in Eberechi Eze and also Bukayo Saka, which to me, I think was a very, very good, defending. Very, very, to me, which I think was a very, very good, substitution. Now, another thing we learned was Pep Guardiola. I don't know who gave him that thought of being too defensive against this Arsenal team, who has so much confidence playing at home. This Arsenal team has scored 8 goals already in 2 games at home. So to me, I don't think defending against them the whole 70, 80 minutes or 60 minutes was okay. To me, I think it was too much. Since Barcelona days, I think he played a match in Barcelona, he has not had anything below 32% possession. To me, I think this was uncalled for. Defending for that long against this Arsenal side was what finished up this Pep Guardiola's team, because they were okay in the first half. They were attacking in the first half. In the second half, everything changed. They went back defending. I think the defending was too much, for Pep Guardiola, and that was what made him drop this point. He was just concerned about picking up this point, whichever way it comes, picking up the 3 point, and that was it. But I think the defending was too much for Pep Guardiola, and that was what cost him this game. At the end of the day, it was a very good point for Arsenal. It was a very good point for all Arsenal fans. Congratulations to all Arsenal fans, because this was a very, very good one. Yes, they want to pick the whole 3 points against Manchester City, but let's not forget, this is Manchester City, one of the very best side in the Premier League, in the recent years. So it is never an easy one. So to me, I think Arsenal and Arsenal fans should take this 1 point, to me, which I think is a very, very good result. But let me know what you think about this game. To all Arsenal fans, let me know what you think about Pep Guardiola defending and Mikel Arteta fantastic substitution, to bring Martinelli in to give them the goal. Share your thoughts in the comment section. If you're new to this channel, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell so I come your way again next time. I remain your boy Mike Way. Stay cool. Cheers.